Okay, hello, and welcome to Charles's top of the year, best of the year list. So I'm going to start off with albums. So my number 10 album of the year, I'm going to go with, maybe I'll put an image here, we'll see. Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. This to me is like, just like one of the best synth pop albums I've ever listened to. Every song kind of bangs. I love Magdalena Bay's like very like girlish, almost like ASMR type voice too. And I like that the album isn't all like sugar sweet bubblegum like boring BS, right? It's actually a pretty interesting. It gets a little grindier here and there, and I feel like when you first listen to the album, it kind of has that synth pop effect where like everything sounds the same. But the more you listen to it, the more each song pulls out into its own thing. And there's a lot of content on there. It's really good. Cool. So next one, I will go with number 9, a late breaking into the top 10 album, and that's going to be Prelude to Ecstasy by The Last Dinner Party. I had not heard of this until like mid December, and I listened to it on my flight home for Christmas, and it's just an Oops All Bangers album. I mean, like, and everything about the group is so tight. Like their aesthetic, their style, the singing, the production, like the lyrics. It all just feels like such a cohesive part of a greater whole. And I just love this album beginning to end, every single song. So great group, great album. Looking forward to seeing what else they do in the future. Yeah. All right, number 8. I am going to go with Mutt by Leon Thomas. It's not often that an R&B album really catches me, but this one really did it for me. I think it's because it was just not overly produced. Like, it was a little bit more soul, a little bit more funk. A lot of the album felt more, I don't know, just a little bit more raw, a little bit more intimate. And to me, that combined with the actual like incredible acumen of Leon Thomas's singing voice, as well as like, man, some of these songs are so catchy. Uh, Really just cemented it as one of my favorites of the year and one of the best R&B albums I've heard in a while. The next album at number 7, that would be Glimmer of God by Gene Dawson. This is, one of my friends said, this is basically just a very Charles album. It's super eclectic, which I love. I think Gene Dawson, I always like his projects. And this one to me felt like a diversion all over again, which is cool. Um, I was really taken aback by the single with Lil Yachty that came out. And when the album came through, I didn't really know what to expect. And it kind of delivered on exactly that, which is like every song is like, oh, what are we doing here? Like, this is very interesting. So I loved it just because it was a great experience. You got to listen to all these different sounds and go through all of these different inspirations. And it was very exciting. All right. We'll go for number 6. I will pick Title Memory Expo by Igloo Ghost. Um, I don't know what this is, man. This Igloo Ghost, it like it just like tickles my brain. I don't know. Listening to Igloo Ghost feels like I'm on a tear in like Titanfall 2 in 2016. I don't know. It just I feel like I'm going fast as hell. I feel like I'm playing Neon White or something, you know. It is like this like breakneck, grimy, like synthy, heavy, crushing, and I love the like grime, distorted vocals. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. This is just one that tickles me, and if it works for your brain as well, then it's an amazing album. Um, Next up, we are entering the top 5, and at number 5, I have I Lay Down My Life for You by JPEG Mafia. I I think I've loved every JPEG Mafia album, but this album is great because this is one of the most successful hip hop, punk rock, kind of fusion albums that I have heard. And there have been a lot of attempts at this. There's that Yachty album. I don't know. I feel like it's been a big thing in the past couple of years to try to incorporate more rock elements into hip hop. But no one can bring like that nastiness like JPEG Mafia. Like he just makes these like guttural like growls and noises mixed in with these like crazy crushing guitar tones and like noisy feedbacks. And man, like the cool thing about this album is that it's not just that. It's not just like a constant like beat down. There's also much lighter points throughout the album, like the Either On or Off the Drugs, where man, there's an excellent sample and it's much more like intimate and it's more of like a just like a traditional rap song. But yeah, I don't know. This album it went hard, it went crazy. Very aggressive, very powerful. All right, next up, I said I wouldn't put it on, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I'm going to put number 4, Smile by Porter Robinson. This is a weird album. I think that what Porter Robinson does on this album is very laudable because it is so honest that it's almost embarrassing. he literally is like riding the line of cringe, but in doing so, it was able to connect with me in a way that a more polished product might not be able to. I thought that was really, it stuck with me, I guess suffice to say, which is why it made it so high on my list. It was actually something that connected with me emotionally. It feels like it was like a whole phase of my life, even though it was just a couple of weeks where I was really listening to this album a lot. There are parts of the album that like really stick out to me, like the part about him talking about getting new teeth and how he was depressed that he didn't have the teeth that his mom gave him anymore. Like, I don't know, there's like weird little bouts of honesty and sentimentality that come out of this album that really, really connected with me. And I haven't even spoken about the music. I mean, the music is like this like really, for the most part, like really fun, bleary electronica that I don't know, it kind of like stirs something inside of you. It feels like very like danceable or very like euphoric. So all in all, I think the album fits, and that's my number 4. All right, top 3. Number 3, Tiger's Blood by Waxahachie. I love this album. The beauty of how sparse and earnest it was connected with me on every listen. And this is the album that I would say I felt the most this year. So many times it would catch me and a different song or a different lyric would just tug at my heartstrings in a different way that I never saw coming. And so to me, this album was really important this year. So that's why it's my number 3. Okay. My number 2, The New Sound by Jordy Griep. This is a classic album out of nowhere for me. I was never big into Black Midi. It was always a little too chaotic and messy for me. I saw the appeal, but just not for me. But this one gripped me from song 1. I've told this story before, but I listened to this album for the first time while hungover on a flight back from Orlando at 7 in the morning. I sat down in my plane seat and I turned on the album to song 1, and it woke me up immediately. I was jolted awake by the first song, which I still think of as like so powerful, maybe because I felt personally attacked. I love the description of, how confident this person was and yet how vulnerable they were. And I don't know. It really caught me off guard, and really, I felt some type of way about it. While I was completely blown away by the musicality. I mean, the virtuosity of this project is like constantly, constantly, completely insane. So yeah, I love that album because it's just so impressive. The lyrics are crazy and so effective. Um, and I love that video for Holy Holy. I think it's really fun. Um, really did not expect to love that one, but made it all the way to number two. All right. Number one album of the year. You probably already know. It's GNX by Kendrick Lamar. This was just perfection for me. I mean, I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. I was following the beef. I was paying attention. And man, just an absolute masterclass, really. I went into it like I knew I was going to get something good. And I was just like, I was just in ecstasy because it gave me exactly what I wanted. And it felt like the perfect capstone to a year of W's. He just took a victory lap, made a banger ass album, and that was it. On to the Super Bowl, huh? So there you go. Those are my top 10 albums. Let me know what you think.